Fantastic Four issue number 2. The relaunch is here just in time for trades to be out available for you to get when the movie comes out in 3 years. That still seems like a long time away, but I guess it's pretty close if you think about it in terms of Marvel retooling all their stuff so things work better, so they don't have like an oversaturated phase 4 and their phase 5 and 6 could be good. You know, this will always be a priority for them. So we had the first issue of this book. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I thought it was just solid. It was clearly trying to do what's the big mystery here? Kind of like that big arc that happened when the new writers for Spider-Man took over. Like, hey, there's a big crater. What happened in the crater? And I'm like, that is an idea to explore. And then you give us like a small independent story with Ben and Alicia. And I'm like, that's kind of fun. This issue is in the same vein. It's all about Reed and Sue, which is cool. Again, I think the artwork in this book is very solid. I do have a little bit of concerns going forward. Not that it's like gonna destroy my opinion on this book. I just think you can notice the simplicity in the writing sometimes, and I'm not completely sold on the way that Ryan North is writing Sue. There's some good moments in there, which we'll get to. I think Reed is definitely like a character they are trying to tell a story with, but Sue feels very passive while still trying to maintain a level of intelligence in the writing. We'll get into it a bit here. So it opens up with Sue giving us narration in a letter that she is writing to She-Hulk Jennifer Walters for some reason. Just because, like, you know, the news says they're away and like, what happened, they had to get out of town for a minute. So they're in a diner in some undisclosed town that they don't really say where. They're eating some food. Of course, Reed's calling it a sloppy Joseph because why not? They're just having a good time. The waitress notices they're Reed and Sue, and she's like, well, that's bad, and instantly turns into a Doombot, and all the people in the diner turn into Doombots and start to harass them. And this is the first time where it's like, oh, okay, Ryan North wants to tell a good Sue Richards story, okay. Dr. Susan Storm Richards and Dr. Reed Richards in the Night of Doom. That's a good start. And then she says darling and honey almost every time she talks to Reed. And I'm like, that is fine. I guess it's kind of in character, but you can definitely feel it's happening a lot. So they're attacked by the Doombots. They try to break through the window, use their Fantastic Car to fix things. And as soon as they reach for that, everybody kind of like turns back to normal people. A cop shows up and sees like the chaos going inside the diner, hauls them away to, I guess, the outskirts of the town and just drops them off, which seems kind of weird because they can just walk back. Is that a thing that cops do? Like, I've never seen that actually happen, but I guess it's a good writing trope. So they just come back, they're invisible, and they're just looking at stuff. Everyone's kind of normal, then glitch again, turn into Doombots. And it's not just one person in the diner anymore, it's everybody they're passing. You know, it's kind of weird. And they see this one girl named Mary. She's kind of like the only one not having things happen to her, and she's in like a mobility scooter. She's older and driving down the road, and everyone else getting on the bus is turning into these Doombots. So Reed's like, we should talk to her, but in the off chance she's going to recognize me, let me morph my face a bit, and I'm going to turn into an older version of me. And I'm like, that's kind of fun. Again, I really feel like Ryan North is like, I had an idea of weird visuals to do with Reed. And okay. It's kind of fun. Looks like an older gentleman. Sue's like, that's my boy. Let's go win the day. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Thanks, I guess. So Reed, pretending to be someone else, bumps into this old woman, Mary, and they go back to her place to talk about Victor Von Doom. And essentially, it's like he was a student, he was an immigrant. I thought Romani from his accent. He never really talked about his family. He was struggling. I offered to help him a bit. I'd give him a meal to eat because he was so focused on his work. He wouldn't eat all the time. And soon I was just feeding him all the time. He just came here to eat and everything was happy. And it's kind of going good for him. I feel like he just connected with us. And you know, it was good to like have him be here. I like cooking for other people, and you know, he always said he'd repay me one day. He's a good guy. I like him, and she's talking very positive about Victor and asks how he's doing. And of course, Reed's like, honestly, he's remarkably effective in his chosen line of work, and that's good. And she doesn't have anything bitter to say about him. And even when he announces his name's Reed, she doesn't freak out about it because she's so disconnected from everything. You're like, okay, that's kind of weird, I guess. Like somebody who doesn't have anything negative to say about Victor Von Doom. Okay. So Reed finds a way to excuse himself to go talk to Sue outside. And it's like, well, could this be like the earliest prototypes of Doombots? Could he have made this whole town up to keep this woman safe who cared for him when he was younger? It's possible. That's the working theory they're both going with. It is a very possible outcome. When they walk back into the house, you start to get like, oh, the detector's going off the illusion field, and Doombot sees them. She's a Doombot. They're able to keep her down, though, and as they pull off the mask of the Doombot, it's a skeleton underneath the Doombot. She's dead. You're like, that's creepy. Good. It's a really good visual. I do think it looks kind of cool. And then Reed does something that's freaky, which I'm like, I don't know if I've ever seen it done like that, where he puts his eyeballs into his fingertips. His eyes are just black, and he's just looking deeper at the girl. Like, why did you need to do that? It's a weird visual that they do for Reed that really feels like an idea somebody had to make Reed into like a body horror character, and I guess that's okay. There's nothing really wrong about that. Can't really tell how long she's been dead, though, so it's not a good sign. Something like that, it's not good. They get attacked again. Another fight with some Doombots, trying to figure out what to do. Luckily, they EMP them, and they manage to save the day. So they go, continuing their search, head to the graveyard to find like the body of a Doombot in a grave. You're like, oh, everybody in this town is a Doombot. Maybe I'll be able to rework their circuitry and re-upload them to be normal. They'll forget about us, and they can go about their day living a normal life. Like, that's okay. That's kind of fun, I suppose. Like, that's nothing wrong with that. Okay. That's a kind of a cool idea. So that's what Reed and Sue do. They turn the Doombots into, like, a normal town. They just go about their day doing normal things. You know, everyone's having fun, eating dinner. Everyone's having a good time. And no problems in the world. They go back to the diner, have a good meal. Then they just leave some change on the counter, and that's the end of the letter to Jen. Now that's the issue. It is not bad by any means. It's a kind of a cool concept to explore. Did Victor actually want to help this woman? What was he doing with all these Doombots creating this town like this? What does it mean? What is it about? Just having this couple who, the more I think about it, the more I don't hate the way they're written. It just doesn't come across as perfect, in my opinion. It just still feels like we're working out the machinations of how to get it perfect, and that's okay. Issue 2 on this book, which is a big book, that's fine. You're going to need some time to get things right, and I get that completely. Some cool visuals with Reed. Doesn't feel like there was the same amount of interest put into doing stuff cool with Sue. She was just more like presented as equally capable of him. Using the doctor title is really cool. Letting her figure things out is really interesting, but she is kind of just put in the situation to react and both bounce ideas off of, as opposed to having any real emotion in there. And I get it. You have to build up to the mystery or whatever's going on, but it's just a fun little story. And I suppose coming off of the slot run, this is kind of what you need. Just a nice hard reset where things are just simple and easy stories. Like, oh, a bunch of Doombots in a town. Are they real? What's real here? Everything's fake. What did Victor do here? Doesn't matter. We're going to give them an honest life. Kind of a fun story. A simple, easy idea that worked well enough. Again, the art is really good. It looks really fun. I do like the way that Reed and Sue look. Sometimes the dialogue, a little iffy, but eventually I think it'll get there. Next issue is about Johnny, apparently, so, okay. That could be fun. Are we going to get them together soon? I don't know. It is completely fine. So fantastic for issue number 2. I am going to give a 6 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.